Welcome, everybody, to another success story. I'm Melinda Tuma with Glen Adult Education, and we're super excited to bring you another success story. This one is a success story that covers a decade-long journey and leads to a very successful and exciting career. So I'd like to introduce you today to Miguel Diaz. Welcome, Miguel.
Hi, how's it going? Happy to be here.
Oh, very good. Thank you so much for coming. We're super excited to tell your story and to share it with everyone out in the community. So tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you are today.
Well, my name is Miguel Diaz. I'm a fire apparatus engineer with CAL FIRE for Tehama Glen unit. Born and raised here in Orland.
Excellent. Hometown boy. We love to hear these stories. So we're going to start with your journey before you became involved with Glen Adult Education and Success One Charter School. Kind of introduce us or talk to us first about your journey in high school and kind of what led you to end up dropping out.
Okay. Yeah, so, I'd like to think a regular teenage boy, kind of rebellious at home and not really making the smartest decisions. Came down to some disciplinary actions that I wasn't necessarily happy with, and my grades were not doing too good.
Okay, so you dropped out of high school.
I did, yes.
And what led you from that point to Success One?
So I started doing some research. I definitely didn't want to be one of those statistics of just dropping out completely and not doing anything with life. So talked about it a lot with my mom mostly. She was the one that had a big concern, and started looking around, and at the time it was called Glen Adult Ed.
Yep.
And that's what we found, and did some research and decided I was going to go for my GED.
Excellent. So you completed and graduated, got your high school GED diploma, and kind of lead us from there.
At first, I was still young. I was about 17 or so, and I had no clue what I wanted to do with life. So I kind of stumbled around a little bit. I thought I wanted to be a mechanic. Tried that, was not very good at it. So just kind of stumbled around, started working in the parts department store, and was pretty successful there. So continued putting in my efforts, and got promoted to a commercial management position here locally, and started making some connections there with some shop owners. One day I called up a friend and I was like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" He's like, "Oh, I'm hanging out at the station." And I'm like, "I have no idea where that is."
The fire station.
And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He was talking about the fire station. So he's like, "Yeah man, come on by. We're having some steak and we're hanging out." And I'm like, "Oh, that sounds great. Some free steak and everything." I'm like, "I'm on my way." So I'm sitting there and I'm hanging out and I'm eating and have no idea what's coming. And next thing you know, so shop owners come in and they greet me, and I was just completely blindsided.
The ones that you already had a rapport with from working at the store, they come in and
they came in as they were like, "Hey man, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing great." They're like, "Hey, are you coming in because you're interested in volunteering?" And I didn't want to be rude, so I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly why I'm here." And at the time I had no clue how big of an adventure I was actually coming into.
So you accidentally get drawn into
I accidentally got drawn in.
volunteer firefighter.
Yep.
And find out that you like it a little bit.
I liked it a lot. Yeah. As the time went by, I had no training or anything, so I was mostly just scared. We started, responding to some calls and started being able to help people, and started getting that feeling of like, this is really awesome. This is something that I haven't necessarily experienced before.
Like finding your purpose.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think one of my biggest mistakes was I was always under the impression that you needed to do like some 4-year college or something.
Right.
That it was just something completely out of the question for me. But it's not necessarily that. You just kind of need to have that drive and figure it out and make it work. I started volunteering over in Hamilton City. And at the time, they had a OES strike team engine that they would send out on county fires with local government agencies. And my first fire was in 2017 for the Thomas incident.
Yep.
Down in Santa Barbara County and Ventura County.
That's a big one.
And I got hooked. I was like, yeah, this is 100% what I want to do. And I don't know how. I don't know with whom. I don't know anything, but I'm going to have to make it work. I finally got my break in 2018.
Okay.
I went on a out-of-county assignment with a strike team leader from Williams, with Arturo Minuti. I must have left a good impression because he was like, hey, we actually have an academy, which is called a BFFA, which is a basic firefighter academy. He's like, this will basically get you all of your basic certifications that you need for you to be able to come and start working for someone like CAL FIRE.
Okay.
And I was like, at the time, I didn't know what CAL FIRE was, but I knew that it was a fire agency, and I knew that, hey, like this might be my stepping stone, right? This might be the spot where I can start and go to, another local government agency and make a career out of it. So that was my thought process. So 2019, started the academy, and I didn't understand how the rank systems worked at that time. But I did meet Captain Jeremiah Carlonos. He was one of the instructors. And at the time that I graduated, he actually offered me a job.
That's awesome.
And I went to go work at his station down at Leesville, which is in Colusa County.
Yep.
From there, I went to another station down in Napa County. Shortly after, I felt that, they were kind of hinting for me to take that next further step. So I moved up and took a fire engineer's exam, got a placement on that, and then I got a phone call, and they were like, hey, we want to offer you a job for the Tehama Glen unit. Went to the academies, and they were stressful and strenuous, and now here we are.
And it all started because you were driven enough and dedicated enough to get back into your education and finish your high school diploma, because I know CAL FIRE doesn't hire if you don't have that done.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good point for a lot of people out there that are, they need to complete their high school diploma equivalency, and they're considering it. And it's so important to get that education done so that when those doors do open and career opportunities come in front of you, you can jump, you're prepared, right?
You're ready to go.
And what a great agency to work with that just helps you continue to grow as not only as a young man and individual, but in your career and all those skills. So that is so cool. Thank you so much, Miguel, for joining us today.
Thank you.
If you have been inspired and you are in kind of that same boat, or you know someone in your family or in your community who needs to finish that high school education, please reach out to us and give us a call. We're Success One Charter School and Glen Adult Education. We have campuses in Orland and Willows. You can check us out on our Facebook page, Glen Adult Program, Success One Charter, or you can reach out to us on our website, which is successoncharter.org. Miguel, thank you again so much for coming here today.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Until next time, everyone, this is Melinda Tuma with Student Success Network.